Thank you for joining for another session of Azure Power Lunch. Once again, the disclaimer, as you know, we record these calls and place our recordings on our YouTube channel. If you don't want to be recorded, you may want to drop off now. So with that, let's start with our topic of discussion, which is Azure Extended Zone Public Preview. Here is a quick agenda. We're going to talk about different Azure resource deployment option in terms of regions, availability zone, and now extended zones. And then we will talk about use cases, features, and how you onboard and, a quick demo. So with that, let's start. So as we know that you have in Azure, you have regions. Regions are basically a collection of data centers in a geographical location, and these data centers are normally grouped in availability zones. Okay. And what are availability zones? They are groups of data centers in a region with a separate power and network provider. So if a zone goes down, entire region doesn't go down. I normally, I'm a foodie and I normally have, that's how I make the mental picture. Like, think of a region as a pizza pie, and each slice is a zone, and each topping is basically a data center. So that's how you can make a mental picture in your head. Um, so basically, these are most Azure regions have zones, and you can deploy in different zones. You can spread your workloads across zones and have high availability. So now let's talk about Azure Extended Zones. What are these? These are extensions, small footprint extension of Azure. Think of it kind of a mini data centers deployed in a geographical region to meet the latency and data residency requirement. Okay, they don't support the entire gam, all the workloads or all the services in Azure. They support some most common services like containers, VMs, and that need to support need that you may need to run latency sensitive and throughput sensitive services. So these are basically those, and still they are connected to the Azure global network. So you still have connectivity. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to address your data residency and latency concerns. And in those, if you want to run your workload in those closer to those geographical locations where these extended zones are available, and at the same time, you can provision it from Azure portal. So that's a good thing. Like, you don't need to do anything special. You can still deploy it from Azure portal or other tools of your choice. Okay, so let's quickly move on. So this is how an extended zone works. You have Azure region, and that is connected through Microsoft WAN to this extended zone, and the services there are VM scale set, load balancer, private link. These are some of the services which are available, and then the user connect to it either through express route or internet to meet their low latency and connectivity diagram. And let me explain. And by the way, at this moment, the only zone that is available, this extended zone in public preview, is in Los Angeles. Okay, so I think there is somebody. Any questions? No, at this moment, no. They're only available at this moment in Azure. So the question was, are Azure Extended Zone available for Azure Gov? As far as I know, they are not. They're only available for public Azure services. Okay. And by the way, folks, there's a misprint at the bottom. It's not Microsoft Confidential. I think this just a misprint on the slide. So this is a public. All the information that we share is public information. So let's take a look at the Azure Map. Okay, let's go in here and let's take a look at the Azure Map or the US map. So I'm sharing my browser. This is the map of United States, and this is the, just keep in mind, this is the location of all the Azure regions in United States. Okay, so you have one region which is West US 2. This is in Washington. Then you have a region in West US which is somewhere in San Francisco. This one, West US 3, is in Arizona. Okay, so now let's look at the map. So Los Angeles is somewhere in between San Francisco and wherever the data center is in Arizona. So if you are, let's say that you have customer in Los Angeles and they need to access Azure services and uh, you can run either your workload in um, San Francisco. I mean, I think it's West US 2 and or West US 3, which is in Arizona. Okay, but let's say that you have certain workloads that needs that to meet low latency requirements. You have these workloads that need to meet low latency requirements and all. What you do about them? Okay, how you address these requirements. That's where these extended zone come into picture. Okay, for example, Los Angeles. It's a big city, and let's say that you want to provide this service over there for certain use cases which require data residency and low latency requirements. So that's where the extended zone come into picture. Think of it. You have a mini data center or region kind of a extended zone there, which provide you these services that you can deploy through Azure portal, just like your usual methods, and you can and then have you can run your workload there. Any questions, folks? Okay, so let's go back to the slide deck and let me just. Okay, so that's kind of a quick overview, and these are the services which are available in those data center. You have managed disks, you have backup and recovery. Not all VM series are available, as you can see here. And I have shared I will share once I share the slide deck. There's a link, and you can look at it more details about it. And here are some of the example, like some of the scenarios where you are going to be probably using this service. So first of all, let's say that there are certain companies which needs to access these services for low latency purposes. Because remember, speed of light is there, and it will always trump where you are trying to meet your latency requirements. So in some cases, that becomes uh, uh, you know um, a big factor in deciding where you want to host your services. So that's that. And then there are some data residency requirement. Maybe they want the data in a certain geography, in certain area for privacy, regulatory, or compliance concerns. So that's where you want to take advantage of Azure Extended Zone. I mean, a thing comes to mind. Let's say there's a big conference that is happening there, and you want to provide certain services to that team, like gaming conference or something. So want to host some content there closer to where those people are, and that's what you can do. Or there are healthcare. I mean, there are large hospital that they need some sort of um, um, you know. Services that you want to provide. That's where it comes into picture. Or there are some real-time command and control information that you want to do in regards to manufacturing. Or for example, in let's talk about oil and gas. I mean, you want to do real-time analytics. So all of these require you to have low latency you need to have low latency. So that's where this thing comes into picture. Okay. So let's go on to a quick demo. Any questions, folks? Okay, so first of all, let's go in here. Uh, what you need to do is this is in public preview, and at this moment, the only zone that is available is in Los Angeles. So basically, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to register this namespace. And let me increase the font size a little bit. So first of all, you will have to register this namespace. You can do it with CLI or you can do it with um, PowerShell. Okay, and then you have to wait for the registration, and then you will have to register this particular extended zone. Once you do that, you will have to wait for the zone registration to complete. For example, let's see here. I'm gonna go in here and um, I just want to show it to you. I mean, it takes some time to complete. So I just want to give you a heads up. I have already completed it. I just want to show you how the registration look like. So let me just first, um, yes. So as you can see here, this is my subscription, Los Angeles provisioning, and it's registered. So once you see this register, then you should be able to use the zone. Okay, so let's see how the experience look like. So first, let's say that you wanna create a virtual machine in the extended zone. So let's start with creating the virtual network. Okay, so we go in, we create a virtual network, and this is the virtual network that you're going to be creating. Let's go in. Okay, so let's do this. NZAPL. Let's select a resource group that we already has. Look at this option. Okay, this option is there if you want to deploy to an extended zone. Okay, so now you can pick this zone. Just keep in mind you have to be registered. If you are not registered, it's going to show you something here that, hey, um, you don't have any extended zone register or something, and you need to do the registration and things like that. Second thing is, if you don't mind looking at the bottom, it says that Azure Extended Zone are a premium solution for Azure and will incur additional charges. Just keep in mind they're in public preview, and while it is in public preview, there are no charges. But it tells me that once that solution is available, there will be some charges and there may be some extra charges since it's a premium solution. So, but once it comes out, we will pay. I have no clue what that would be, but just want to give a heads up. While in public preview, there are no charges, but once this solution goes GA, there may be some charges. Of course, there will be charges from it, and there will be some premium add-ons since this is a, um, a premium service premium solution from Azure. Okay, so that's that. If you are doing a virtual network, you will be doing that. And let's go into a virtual machine. Okay, so let's do that. And once we have a virtual machine there, and let's pick the and look, deploy to an extended zone. Once again, there right now there is one, but you can pick. So same is true if you have a storage account. So let's create a storage. I'm not going to create those resources. I have already created a few. So just want to show it to you. Count. In the meantime, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. So here we go. And once again, this is the option that is available. Okay. So if you see, so this is kind of a new thing that is coming, and as this becomes GA, you will start seeing this option if you have access to those zones. Okay. And this is a virtual machine that I have deployed in um, Azure, and this is deployed in location. Look at the location. I hope everybody can see it. It is location Los Angeles, West US. Okay, so this thing is deployed in an extended zone, and it's available. It's running in West US region. So that's how you can kind of take a look at it and see where this particular resource is deployed. And if we go back to the resource group, you see that all of these locations say West US, but if I go into this virtual network, location Los Angeles, West US. And let's go back to this here, and let's go back to this storage account, same thing. It's gonna show you it's available in West US, Los Angeles, West US. And let's go back to once again. So all of these are kind of deployed in that location, though they say in general in this one West US, but they're deployed in the extended zone in the West US extended zone. Okay. Any questions, folks? Okay. So let's
Is it
do a
any, I
yeah,
have a
go ahead.
question. Is there any relationship between Azure Arc and Azure Extended Zone? Maybe Azure Arc is on steroid, is Azure Extended Zone?
Sorry, say it again. If you don't mind
I
repeating
put
the
in the
question.
chat. I put in the chat.
Oh, let me take a look. Give me 1 second. Oh no, this is not Azure Arc, guys. That's a good question. This is not Azure Arc. Azure Arc, when you have services like AKS, like VMs running in your own data center, and you want to see it through Azure, sort of single pane of glass, you use Azure Arc. This is not Azure Arc. This is Microsoft data center. It is so. Once again, let me take a step back. This is, and let's take this picture in here. This is a footprint of Microsoft data center deployed in a certain location to meet the data residency and latency requirements. Okay, this is connected to Azure through WAN. So it is connected to the high-speed network to Azure Fiber, and it has not all the services, limited set of services, as you can see here. To once again, it can be deployed to meet certain workload requirements like real-time processing of images and manufacturing data, healthcare requirements, things like that. And I mean, if so, as if you have joined the call from the very beginning, I showed you a map. So this right now there is only one extended zone available, which is in um, Los Angeles. As you know, the West data centers are either in Washington or in San Francisco. So if you are in Los Angeles, you have certain data residency and latency requirements. That's the zone, that's the extended zone that you can take advantage of, you know, because in both cases, if you go with the San Francisco one, or let's say there's also one in Arizona, but still it's kind of it's right in the middle of these location. Okay, so that's and this is not Azure Arc. Azure Arc is a different service basically. This is a footprint, small footprint of Azure deployed in a specific location to meet data residency and latency requirements. Any questions, folks? Okay, so if there are no questions, I will everybody 8 minutes back. And thank you for joining and hope to see everybody next week for another session of lunch. Thank you very much.